Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch the Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grim Show and co-produced by IVEST. I am the Dude.
And I am Grim, and we are going to discuss today my favorite album by Queens of the Stone Age, and that is Era Vulgaris. Hold it up, because I have not picked that up on vinyl. When I went, dude, they just had that the dual vinyl of like the 7-inch one, and I was like, I want that one.
You want the big one.
And it's got all the songs?
It's got all the songs.
Awesome.
And it's on one disc.
Yeah, that's what I want.
So tell me what you want, what you really want. Yeah,
that
it's
would
pretty
be
cool.
Era Vulgaris on 101 disc.
Mm-hmm. Got a nice little fold out thing.
Yeah, the artwork is pretty cool. They talk about the artwork
it's
too.
It's very interesting.
I really like how the light bulbs are kind of characterized as like these things that you thought were really good ideas, but turns out they're like not such good ideas. I think that's funny.
So this yellow one is called Bulby, and this one is called Stumpy.
For obvious reasons.
You didn't know that. So.
Yeah.
So this is your favorite Queens of the Stone Age album, huh?
Yep, it is.
What about it? Do you, I guess, ranks it above sort of the other ones?
I think it has the most distinct overall sound out of all of them, even though every song does not fall in to the category of having that sound. I think overall it kind of sticks with this sound. And if I were to characterize the sound by the name of one song on the album, that would be Battery Acid. Because, dude, the album just sounds like just battery, just like burning holes through things. And
see, that's
it's grimy. It's just distorted. It's nasty as hell, dude.
To me, and this is the way I describe a lot of the songs on the album, it has a very machine-like, mechanical, like grinding sort of feel to it. It really does.
Now, did you read about the inspiration for this one?
Yeah, I thought it was cool because Songs for the Deaf was inspired by him driving from LA out to his ranch, right?
Yeah.
And then this is just...
Or I think opposite. Or no, you're right. It does start in LA because he's like LA's infinite repeat. Yeah, going out, driving out
Rancho
to the desert.
de Luna. Yeah.
And so this one is basically like a take on just driving down Hollywood Boulevard and kind of seeing just the filth that is no doubt there.
The lifestyle. Yeah.
And dude, I think the name is great, but what surprised me is that it actually meant it was the English translation of the Latin is like the modern era.
Right.
But I think that I read that Josh Homme liked it even more because to him it just sounded more like the vulgar era, which is, kind of where we are.
Not only where we are, but then, and sorry to all you people out there in LA and La La Land, but like that sort of really encompasses the Hollywood entertainment, materialistic scene. It just, that's America.
All the bullshit rolled into one place, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much. Well, I thought it was cool. I mean, this is, I don't know where I would rank this. I think Like Clockwork is my favorite Queen's album, then Songs of the Deaf, and then probably this one. But my rankings are always changing and stuff. But this is one of the first ones I actually got into. I mean, Songs for the Deaf and this one are the first couple I got into because I think it was like I'd heard Into the Hollow and Make It With You. Yeah. And I was like, oh, those are cool. I like those songs and everything. Again, very different than I think the rest of the album, but those are ones that really caught my ear like initially. Yeah. And that's before I even really started getting into Queens of the Stone Age. I just wasn't into sort of harder stuff at the time, I think. And then, then I started really getting into this album.
Well, when I got into them, I just went to, at that time, the CD store, and I had downloaded their self-titled one that I liked. And I figured this is going to be a band that I'm really going to like. So I'm just going to pick a couple of albums up and see.
Oh, nice.
And so when I went, the only ones that they had were songs they had a live album. I think that's like Over the Years and Through the Woods or something. And then they had Songs for the Deaf, and they had Lullabies to Paralyze. So I picked those two up, and I really liked both of them. But then once I heard this one, I was kind of like, oh man, this is kind of my favorite. And then the rest, I think, I was like, came out, I bought them as they came out because I knew they were coming out.
I gotcha. Well, it's, Queens of the Stone Age is interesting. I mean, it's always, Josh Homme, but there's been a lot of other people have been in and out through the years. Mm-hmm. And I heard that even as they were getting ready to record this album, they were going to have a lot of, other musicians or guest musicians and stuff kind of come in. And, his desert sessions has also been pretty well documented, where he's just, goes to his ranch and his studio out there and invites a bunch of different people.
Well, I don't think that's his ranch. Along. I think that's Dave Ketching's. But there's a bunch of guys who we'll talk about, or I mean, maybe we'll just talk about him now, but Elaine Johannes and Chris Goss, who have kind of been in that desert scene, and he's worked with on a lot of stuff like Desert Sessions and back, I think, in the days when he was in Caius, and Dave Ketching, the dude who owns Rancho de la Luna.
Okay.
And they go out there, that episode that you told me about of Anthony Bourdain's show, they go out to the ranch and they're recording the theme song for the show or something. It's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, and I know you wanted to talk a little bit about this track, but Trent Reznor was supposed to appear on the album and I think be more involved. And he actually does get involved and is really funny. The self-titled track doesn't even make the album. Kind of like, Houses of the Holy for Led Zeppelin. They're like, no, we'll just hold off and put on Physical Graffiti. Right?
I know. Well, and that's funny you bring that one up because, I shared that one with you because back in the days when I would download stuff, I downloaded this album and it had that. And I saw that wasn't on the album. And the other, which is crazy because to me, that's better than maybe one or two songs that they did choose to put on the album.
Yeah.
And another one that I guess was on the Japanese bonus edition release is called The Fun Machine Took a Shit and Died. Dude, I don't know if you had the chance to listen to that song.
I did not get to listen to it.
It's awesome. I really like that song. To me, you could that one.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me about that is that was kind of packaged. I think it was also on a single. It was the B-side of one of the singles they released too, in the US. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at the cover right here for Lullabies to Paralyze by Queens of the Stone Age. And this one came out in...
This is before this one, I think.
I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe you can look it up. But either way, it did come out before that. And in the jewel case here, it lists all the songs on here, but there's an extra song after the last song, and it says, The Fun Machine Took a Shit and Died. And then below it, it says, was lost or misplaced. There is a reward for the return of said tapes. So and I don't know if the version that we've heard of that song that they re-recorded it or they found the tapes that they reference in this album release.
Well, so it says Lullabies was 2005. This was 2007.
Yeah.
Here.
So it's very possible that was recorded kind of during that time and then they were going to do something with it. And I just thought that was cool that they put that in the actual kind of liner notes for the album.
That is pretty cool. Well, so the Era Vulgaris track, again, it's not on the US North American, but I believe it's they had bonus tracks, and so it did make it on the Japanese, Australian, New Zealand, and UK version of their release. But they have a bunch of different sort of releases. So did you see what the Canadian version had on it? It's got a cover of Elliott Smith's Christian Brothers, which I thought was really interesting and would love to hear that.
And
Needles
White
in the
Wedding? by Billy.
Yeah, and White Wedding,
Idol?
Needles in the Camel's Eye by Brian Eno, and then White Wedding by Billy Idol. That's I would like to hear all their versions of all of those. Christian Brothers really kind of threw me off though, because that's off, I believe, Elliott Smith's debut album, and that's primarily acoustic.
Yeah,
so
it would be interesting to hear
like,
what they do with that, and I'd like to hear the remix that featuring Trent Reznor of Era Vulgaris. Although I felt like the version that I'd heard of that, I feel like he's in the background there.
Yeah, I think he is. But then there, on one of the CDs, there's like somebody else, there's like an alternative mix, or I guess there is a remix or whatever. So it's like, I don't know, maybe he's more prominent in that, or something else is. But
and
but
they
it sounded like
Tom West at some point, Going Out West, or just Tom Waits.
Tom West. Yeah. So one thing that I thought was interesting, this album, I think, took about 10 months to record.
Yeah.
And it sounded like they were writing it and sort of working on it in the studio. And I think there was a couple of songs that there were only, I want to say 2 that they had. I think maybe it was Into the Hollow was one, and then Make It With You was on one of the Desert sessions, and they had a different version.
9 and 10,
and
I think.
Yeah, it was 9 and 10. And so those songs had, I think, previously existed, but then the rest of the album, they basically wrote and just recorded in the studio. And man, that's got to take some time. Yeah. Right? Like if you just go in there with it's cool to go in with a blank slate and you're kind of with your musicians, but that's also got to, I imagine that can be frustrating at times and not easy for a lot of bands, especially if you're kind of dependent maybe on one person to really do a lot of the, writing. But it sounds like they had a good creative process for this one.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, despite taking a while, but yeah, if that's your job and you can do that, I mean, who cares? That's awesome.
Sounds pretty badass.
I didn't watch any of the videos. I read that there were some videos out there where they're like in the studio, which I do wish I would have watched. Those with 3s and 7s.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did videos for what is it? Is it 666, Make It With You, and 3s and 7s?
I've seen 666 video because that's a proper music video, if I recall.
Yeah, all 3 of them are like proper music videos.
Oh, okay.
They did do sort of these. And if you go to Queens of the Stone Age, like their YouTube channel, and you scroll, it's pretty much the first couple of videos I think they ever released. If they kind of did these teasers of the kind of the album, and they had like in studio footage for it's very short, very short, and just snippets of songs and stuff like that. But it is cool to see him in the studio and kind of just like playing stuff and working out and everything. But it's not, there's nothing overly in depth.
Sure.
I did find doing like sort of like a Google or a YouTube search, an interview that Josh Homme did on the radio, where he does go track by track and kind of talks about each song, which is kind of cool. And I got hopefully some good little nuggets that people will find interesting here. So
I thought, you had talked about how he wanted to have a lot of people on this and only a few ended up showing up. I was surprised at Julian Casablancas from The Strokes. That one surprised me. Mark Lanegan has been on other stuff, and he was the main vocalist on some of the songs, on Songs for the Deaf, even. Right. And Lullabies to Paralyze. So that one wasn't as much of a shock. Now, Billy Gibbons, one of the guitarists from ZZ Top.
Who's on Lullabies, right?
I think so. And I think he's also on the Desert section the Desert Sessions one that I have, the newer one. 11 and 12, I think it is. And he's on that one, and the song that he does is awesome.
I think a lot of that's cool. Scheduling issues that they had.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected those two to work together, but I think it's really cool that they kind of have and continue to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said with Mark Lanegan, I think in the interview that I was listening to, he basically said that Mark he just loves working with him, and he's like, he can just kind of come and go as he pleases. It doesn't seem like he has like a big issue with it, So it's just like, you want to come in today, and whatever. Well, should we get into the tracks here, Grim?
Yeah, I suppose that That would be the right thing to do.
I think before we do get in the tracks, though, we should have everyone who's made it this far make sure to go ahead and give us a
like, subscribe, and comment below.
Definitely let us know what you think about this album. It's one of our favorites. This is one of our favorite bands, and it's I'm looking forward to talking about some of the tracks on here. But let us know some of your, if you guys got favorite tracks or what you think of the music videos, or if there's certain tracks that maybe you think don't fit. What would those be? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, all right, Grim. First track.
Turning on the screw. Dude, I love it's almost like Beach Boys style thick harmonies, but like really dark. You know how it comes in?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. The way it starts is just amazing, man.
And then that synth, that dirty, and I didn't know what exactly they did for that until I saw a live video of them, and he had something, this Moog is called the Sub 37, but there was one that came out before them that was built within the same body, but it could do like a few less things, and the name of it's escape. I think it was called a Little Fatty, and the guy's on that Little Fatty, and he just makes that and then bends it. Yeah. And that's such an awesome way to start it. I like that. And I love the lyrical reference to Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, I missed that. What was
that?
Dude,
put the lotion in the basket.
The basket.
Yeah.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's a good one. Yeah, so for me, the first three songs on this album have a very sort of similar feel, and that's what I was talking about, this sort of like factory machine like kind of, I don't know, just vibe and grinding. There's a real rawness to it.
I think even more, 666, I would definitely say that, but dude, Misfit Love too is just the way that is very mechanical. Yeah. But I know what you mean, because these three are right in a row.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So the next one, 666, and this is the one that you just talked about, the dude from the Strokes, Julian Casablancas. Yeah. But then they talked about, in the interview I listened to, Josh Homme talked about like I forget who it was, but used the Casio digital guitar on the song.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Dude, those are kind of trippy. Like there's part of me where I kind of want one, because I've seen some YouTube videos of people playing them, and to think about what you could do with that thing.
Well, that's the thing. And Josh Homme was like, he's like, it's kind of this weird, dorky little instrument, but he's like, you get some really cool sounds out of it too.
Yeah, it is, dude. Like to look at it is super dorky. But when I saw it and saw somebody playing it, I was like, I could really have fun with that thing. And to think of just the pure like manipulation possibilities of the sound would be fun. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. So in the interview, Josh Homme kind of said the song was sort of about, it's hard to make decisions. And again, like, I don't know, looking through the lyrics and stuff, I couldn't find a lot of direct correlations, but he says it's hard to make decisions because there's always new information. And so what people kind of do and what we do in life is, we like to sample all the options. Like, it's like, I'm going to buy this thing, or you're going to do something. So, but there's like 5 different versions or 5 different companies that make it. So, I'm going to try all of them. But he's like, our generation it's all about the sampling.
Yeah, sure.
Instead of actually
like you said,
the final one that exactly.
Yeah, you don't just order a pint of one that sounds good. You want to know what they all taste like.
You want 5, exactly. Yeah,
but little ones.
So little ones. But yeah, this song is dude. It's again, like, it's just kind of a straight freaking rock song, but it has this like pounding drive. And when I was listening to it, I was like, if this song was having sex, it wouldn't be making love.
That is a very good way to put it. It's kind of like when they have that scene in the movie Belly, and one of the people in Belly is Nas and the other one is DMX. Tell me which one of those dudes in that scene is doing it 666 style. It's definitely DMX.
Definitely.
But anyways,
so.
One thing I want to say, and you hear it in a lot of songs, but you really notice it when the drums come in on Turning in the Screw. And then, of course, this goes to 666. But like, they are so... The drums are grimy. Like they almost don't even sound like audio recordings of drums because they just like sonically destroyed them. And another thing too that I like about Queens of the Stone Age, when they do stuff is, rarely do you hear a whole lot of cymbals in their drum beats. Just think about that when you listen to it sometime. It's mainly just like the pounding of the kick and the snare and, which goes along with what you just said.
Going to pound time.
Pounding, yeah.
Just pounding.
What up, champ?
Yeah. So, and I don't know, this is one of the ones that has a music video, and it's kind of a trippy music video. They're like, it's shot and they're like in this old church, and there's a woman sitting at like a table while they're in front, like playing, and they're like chained up, and they, keep bringing food out, and she keeps ringing this bell. And then I don't know if she's like eating them or what's consuming them somehow. It has this weird kind of thing to it. But interesting video. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll say that. So,
I Am Designer, dude.
I Am Designer.
One of my favorites on the album.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it really, it's funny because knowing now that this album has a lot to do with that LA culture, I could see a lot of this really just takes a dump on all the pretentious folks who just think they are so original and amazing and unique and,
Yeah.
Never again will I repeat myself. Enough is never enough. I'm one of a kind.
Is that the name of your book? Push a silver. I Am
Designer. Yeah.
Push a silver spoon in your ass.
Yeah.
Well, Josh Homme, he did say he's like, this song is kind of like, he called it a declaration of like codependence. And it's almost sort of this thing he said where it was like, he said, he's like, I don't understand. Is gluttony good, or is gluttony bad, or is it rad? Is what he said. He's like, being an elitist is terrible if I'm not included.
Yeah.
Sure. Is money the root of all evil? But I kind of need it.
Yeah.
So
you gotta
well,
dude, it's funny that the notion you just said. There's we're gonna do an album, I think, in the near future called "We All Belong" by Dr. Dog. Mm-hmm. And dude, they have this great line in one of my favorite song on the album where he just says, "Even gluttons got to eat." Like,
that's right.
I like that, and dude, it kind of goes with that sentiment.
So like I always say, like I'm not against vegetarians or anything, but I always say, hey, even broccoli screams when you pull it from the ground.
Yeah,
funny. So, all right, track number 4, Into the Hollow.
Now, I was going to do a little thing to talk about something in that song, and that is the first bit of sounds you hear. And they said that he played a hollow body electric, I guess, on this song. And a lot of times with hollow body electrics, the way that the strings are mounted up through the bridge, there's these spaces like this acoustic that I'll have, and I'll show you in this video, like right about now. And as you can see,
now
the fact that there's space there, it a lot like the strings, the little bits of string that go between where they come out, they have notes. And so whatever guitar he has those 3 notes, which are basically a low octave, a fifth, and an octave to get that repeated 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
But that sound is eerie and distinct, and I think kind of makes the it kind of makes the sound.
It does. Well, this I have always really liked this song. I feel like it does kind of break up the album a little bit. It still has, I will say, it still has the what I'll refer to again as sort of the machine-like feel.
Yeah, it does.
In a sense, because it has the repetition.
I know.
That is constantly
and I
going
think that
in the
was
background.
cool because they did tone it way down, but there was still something.
But still there.
And what was there was still kind of fuzzy and kind of, it still had a little bit of grime to it.
It's a different kind of machine. Welcome to the machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I would argue the most mechanical song to me, in the way it starts, it's just like a big, like 5-ton hydraulic press in a factory, just do.
But even and here's the thing, it's so great, and it's so great to have that come after Into the Hollow because it is such a stark contrast. But Josh Homme did say, he was like, this song is the best representative song of the album.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree with that, dude. Yep. And it's dude, I Am Designer is up there on my list. This I would say is above it.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the line in there too where he's like, here there ain't even no good bad drugs. Like that is a good line.
Dude, that's really good. Well, he said kind of the thought behind this song was it was about the experience of the people who came from the desert and they coming into the city, just kind of like he did, coming into LA and just like rolling into the city. And just kind of looking at the people who are, on Rodeo Drive and all this stuff, kind of saying like, wait until you get a load of me.
Well, and there's also that line in the song where he says, in the city, is it true? If you don't, you act like you do, kind of that.
Dude, that's awesome. I really like that.
See, I've listened to this. I mean, I listened to it a few times today and I just knew all, all the words to the songs. Like I don't even have lyric sheets up or anything. You just remember them.
Nice. Battery Acid.
The title that describes the music so perfect.
Dude, it's pretty sweet, man. Yeah. I mean, just naming a song Battery Acid. It just has.
And it sounds like it.
It has such a visual kind of
you just like bubbling, corroding through metal, But I like how it does get into that like slow part where the guitars are very strummed and it does have an interesting breakup in there.
Yeah, that part is I almost feel like it's really strange. I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because the way it goes back and forth, it has almost a strange, almost incoherent feel to it a little bit because it softens it up for a second. But it's almost unsettling a little bit. Kind of the like it doesn't.
I find the other part of it very unsettling, like how it starts. It's just it's very abrasive and abrupt, and you're kind of like, whoa. Yeah,
dude, this song is literally all over the place.
Yeah. And then they really break up the album. Really break it up.
Make It With You.
Coming it back from the desert sections. Now, one thing I like, and I wish they would have done this, is I believe on the desert sessions one, he has PJ Harvey on there. I guess in this instance, he had his wife on there, or his former wife now, but which is cool too. But I just, PJ.
From what I heard is that, and maybe their voices sound very similar, but I heard the Desert Sessions version. It's Mark Lanigan singing it.
Oh, no. I didn't mean the main vocals. I meant some of the other vocals that are in there. But yeah, I think that could very well be the case. I'd have to listen back to it, but that could, because he kind of, the way he sings it is kind of like I would imagine Mark Lanigan singing it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
Definitely. The video itself, well, because even like Josh Homme was like, it's he's like, it's the most, what do you say? He was like the most real and heartfelt song he's been able to play, like about screwing is basically
I could see that
what it is. And he was like, it just kind of encapsulates wanting to be with someone, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
But the video is cool because they're out in the desert, like at the ranch, and the band's just out there playing like in the ranch. And so like for the first half of the song, they're just, it's like kind of your standard music video. Yeah. And then kind of throughout the video as it goes along, like couples come up to kind of like where they're playing, and then they're just kind of like hanging out and having drinks, and then people just start like making out with each other and everything.
Oh, it's funny.
Pretty funny.
I haven't watched that one, but I have seen a video of a really good live recording they did of this, and he's like totally debonair looking in a suit with his hair all done, and it's kind of funny.
Nice. Yeah. Dude, that's cool. I gotta check that out. So the first single off the album, Threes and
Sevens, good song.
I think they asked him, the interviewer asked him, like, he was like, why did you choose that name of that song? Or why did you choose that as the name? He's like, oh, because they're both prime numbers.
That's pretty funny.
Like, and he was like, and it feels like we're in our prime.
That's pretty awesome. That is cool.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah,
only
definitely.
Evenly divisible by one or themselves? Isn't that the definition of a prime number? I think.
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah,
Somebody
only
below.
Evenly divisible
Let
by.
us know.
Like, subscribe, and comment below.
But yeah, the album definitely picks up like right after, Make It With You with this again. And dude, now, okay, I'm not going to get myself in too deep of trouble here because, again, I'm not a musician and I don't know anything about it, but I do know how to listen to it. I can do that.
Okay. It's good.
So that kind of guitar strumming riff and everything in the way it starts, and it plays throughout the song too, but the strumming pattern, there's parts of it that really remind me of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh yeah. Just the cadence.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I don't know anything about the chords, or that could be close, same, not at all, but just sort of that strumming pattern.
I almost thought you were gonna say "Song 2" by Blur, because there's something about that too, but I would say Teen Spirit even more.
All right, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, the music video for this is kind of trippy. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Death Proof. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
I've never heard of the movie Death Proof.
Okay, well, Quentin Tarantino did it, but
okay.
It was like very kind of his low budget, a very low budget movie, and Kurt Russell's in it, but there's really no stars, or at least at the time there weren't any people who were really known. I don't know, maybe Zoe Kravitz is in it. I'm not sure, but I've only seen it a few times, and it's definitely like, if I'm ranking all the Quentin Tarantino movies, that's definitely kind of in the back. But the music video for it, for this song really remind me of like the way that movie was shot and some of the sequences.
Oh,
and it has to do
interesting.
with kind of cars and stuff. And it's got these like 4 badass chicks, and they're in a car and they're kind of like fighting, but it's almost like they start doing like kind of credits at the end. And so it's almost like a movie trailer for like an old B movie or TV show or something like that. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyways, it's, I thought it was kind of a cool, different type of video to
I'll
do.
have to check that out.
Yeah. All right.
Suture Up Your
9.
Future, dude.
Number 9.
Into the Hollow though. I guess then this would be my second favorite slow one on it. I love kind of the electric piano vibe, and I also really like how at the end of it they're playing those slightly, I'm going to say very, very slightly dissonant chords, and they just kind of play that over and over and let it ring out. It's just like a weird thing to make a transition on, but it does work.
Yeah. I like this song a lot, and I feel like sort of
the rhyming is great though. I would have never thought to rhyme.
It's really good. Yeah, that is good. But kind of how I, in a weird way, sort of grouped the first 3 songs of the album. These last 3 songs I kind of grouped together sort of in a way too.
Wow, I cannot group the last 2 with this one. The last 2 I dig you on, but this one does not go with them at all to me.
No? Okay. Well, Josh Homme said that he actually wrote this song. I think they're playing a show, and they were overlooking Hyde Park, and for some reason he just started thinking about stuff, and he felt like he had kind of shaken like the lead jacket of the year before. And like the interview asked him like, well, what is, like what was like holding you down or whatever. And he was like, man, he was just like, we had so many like personal differences, like in the band, and it became more about like those personal differences than like the music itself. And he was like, Suture Up Your Future. He was like, it was kind of about
Sew it
being,
back together.
all of a sudden being more comfortable with what's been done, and like, let's take it and get it together. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Dude, River in the Road, I think, is maybe not as abrupt, say, as when 666 comes in.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it as kind of abrupt how it comes in like charging full steam ahead.
Definitely.
And the drum pattern is really repetitive and aggressive at the same time. But again,
I kind of
not
felt
a lot of cymbals.
Yeah, I felt like it's like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And definitely not a lot of cymbals. But I felt like it's like this kind of like fast march. Like, that's what the drums kind of keep it going. And now he said that Mark Lanigan's the one singing on it. And I swear,
the main vocals?
That's what
I
he said.
can see that. Yeah.
But
actually,
that's the
that
thing.
makes
it's like,
a lot of sense.
I like can't tell. Like, I literally, like, I feel like their voices are just, I don't know.
It's weird.
I
I see what you mean, because like you said with Make It What You, like, he sings it in a way where if you listen to that compared against the Desert Sessions one, it's not like a sea change apart. There's a lot of similarities in the delivery and everything. And I see that, like, when he's kind of in the lower part, like where Lanigan would sing.
Normally sing. That. Yeah, definitely. All right. Last track. Run, pig, run. Oh, piggy can run.
This one, I think, you know how we were talking about how Battery Acid is kind of all over the place? This is very similar to that, because they go into that other part where the guitar is just like, it does get to kind of like a weird march. But I like the change. The change works for me. Like, even though it's very abrupt and everything, the change. I'm okay with that.
You're okay with it? Well, it was funny because Josh Homme said that like this song, he had been listening to a lot of gypsy music apparently, and he says,
delivered in a much weirder way, but sure.
yeah. God, what else did he say? He was like, I think it was all the other songs. He was like this is the only, he said, at least to him, the only really rugged like song subject, or the only rugged song like subject wise, where there's like a lot of anger. And he was like,
it does sound that way.
Yeah. And he was like, it was nice to, let go, especially on an album. He said, he was like, I guess for him, it's, it's anger, such an easy emotion to feel. At least for him. And so he was like, it was nice to let that go for a lot of the album, but then to have this song, like, kind of be able to bring that back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because I guess when you bring that up, I mean, a lot of the other ones maybe sound like they would be angrier, but more observational in nature. So that's it.
All right, folks, this is the point in the show where, one, we pick our favorite songs, but also, as difficult as it is, we pick what song we would scratch if you had to. So, Grim, what is your favorite song? Because I think you said, did you say Into the Hollow is one of them? Or
that's up there. That would be like probably top 3. But dude, Misfit Love, man.
Is it? Okay.
It is, yeah. There's something about every time that starts. I like how it starts and it just builds and builds.
Yeah. I disagree with you. Yeah, I really love Into the Hollow. That was, I think, the first song that I heard off this album that really, really got me.
Yeah, I would agree. That was an early one for me.
Yeah. So like I heard that song and that's the song that brought me into this album. So I really, really like that. Turning on the Screw, I think is a fucking badass way to start an album. Like that's incredible. Those ones, Make It With You, I do like a lot. You know, I mean, there's just a lot of good songs on this album that are, you know, have that raw machine feel. I don't know, man. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm walking like room to room in like a factory or something, and there's a bunch of different stuff going on in each room. Yeah. I don't know what they're building, but it sounds cool, right?
Dude, it kind of goes with that Tom Waits cover. What's he building in there? Dude.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of that, if you haven't, just listen to the song "What's He Building in There" by Tom Waits. And dude, I shit you not, it's basically like condensing the whole sentiment of the movie The Burbs into like a weird 3-minute spoken word soundscape song. I'm telling you, you'll love it. Like everything. Yeah. Oh, you hear the sounds, dude. I'm telling you, you will thank me for this. It is The Burbs in sonic format in 3 minutes.
I want to hear Ruben. Need a little Brother Theodore in my life.
I know. No. I mean, they don't blow up the house at the end of the song and all that stuff, but you know.
All right.
Life is home.
Well, time to scratch, Grim.
Yep. Dude, River in the Road.
Yeah? Oh, whoa.
Dude, I in my opinion, you could have put in either the song Era Vulgaris or dude, I mean, if they would have put the Fun Machine Took a Shit and Died in place of that, forget about it over here.
Yeah. So the thing for me, and you know, it's tough because I've never really, I don't know if I've ever listened to this album with the context of obviously like the idea of our show, like if you had to scratch one, like what would it be? I gotta say the two that stand out are Make It With You and Into the Hollow, because I feel like they're
just because they're different.
Theme wise, like feeling emotional.
I understand.
I don't, you know,
I could argue they don't make a whole lot of sense.
Those are in there. I love them as standalone songs, but if you pulled them out, especially if you pulled those out and put in the two tracks that you just mentioned, like, you know, this album has got like all the way through, man. It's pretty intense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So just because I don't think it, and I love Make It With You, but I would probably have to scratch that one, which is really hard for me to say. Like it just is, because it's all about the fit, man. If it fits,
but you know what, dude? It's our show, and you're scratch, my man. So
it is
in this arena. Well, everyone, do what you want.
Do what you want. Well, everyone, please let us know below what track you would scratch, as hard as it may be. It could be Make It With You. It could be Into the Hollow. It could be one of our favorites. Who knows? You might get some flack from all the fans. But
oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Growing by the day.
Like, subscribe, and comment below.
500.
So with that, I think 5, 8, 7. I think we have officially scratched Era Vulgaris.
We have. With a screw.
Oh, driver. Yeah, definitely a flathead, because I really want to dig in, you know.
Oh, yeah. All right, kids. It is time to go. On what show?
Show. Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude Grim. Additional music provided by Moore and the Tims. Copyright 2021. The Dude Grim Show.